I've been fishing since I fished off a bridge in my village in Devon since the age of 10. My dad taught me well. The fishing I do is in rivers where you don't really stand on the edge, you're in the river itself, in waders. So it can be quite hazardous, and you do have to be careful. And obviously having Parkinson's isn't particularly conducive to standing in a river which is full of boulders and things. Yeah, I've always been worried that I may have to stop that. And again, looking back, I questioned how long would I be able to do this. So I went to the clinic, and he had me do all sorts of movements and observations. You could tell he had to break the news to me. He kept asking me, do I know what it could be? Hoping that I'd say, is it Parkinson's? And then he said it, and then my world fell in. It was just incredible how one sentence can change your life forever. I then had to drive down the hill back to the house where Harriet was, and I had to walk in, and I had to break the news that I had Parkinson's. As the condition progressed, I started medication. I followed quite a standard path in terms of medication. About 2 years ago, about the idea of advanced treatments, that's where the DBS came in. So I went to Bristol to be assessed. The way it works with being assessed for DBS is they're looking for patients who respond well to levodopa, the drug, and I think people who don't have memory difficulties. So when I went over there for assessment and come off all medication, which was the first time in 15 years I was medicated free, that was a real shock, seeing me in my default position, most natural, where I was immobile, could hardly walk. And you're taken into a video studio where you're filmed doing a number of standard Parkinson's tasks, and then the consultant came back and said, you're eligible for it. Thinking back to it, I would have been really gutted and disappointed if they said no. It's because by that stage I'd fully bought into the idea of DBS. It was only a month after that I was taken in for surgery. When I met the consultant surgeon, what she explained was this new device, it sensed brainwaves, and this device will measure the brainwaves that will then be used by the clinicians to tailor the strength of the current going into the brain. It felt like a modern piece of equipment, and I thought, well, let's go with that. It feels good to have the best technology there is out there. I came out of the hospital after 2 days, and I was up at the rugby club watching my boy train. The recovery was extremely quick. I mean, we're talking 2 weeks, and the sutures were taken out here, here, and here. You could hardly see anything. I had a month then, post-op recovery, and then I went in for the switch on. It's quite nervous going in because you think, all this surgery, is it going to work? And it was incredible. Within half an hour or so, they had me walking up and down the corridor, and it's like I didn't have Parkinson's. I was just walking normally. I wasn't falling to the side as such. I wasn't limping, and it was just incredible. It was absolutely amazing. Once I was switched on, I then returned a month later. But before doing that, a week in advance of returning, there's a function on the device, the handheld device that you're given that controls the current, that it also records events and records the brainwaves, so that once that data is captured, the specialist will see the data. They had this nifty software which showed graphs, it showed data, it showed the brainwaves, and all that information was used to achieve the right programming. I think the biggest impact it's had is obviously my movement is much better, but because of that, I feel a lot more confident. sport and fishing, it means I can keep going and do more of it, and Harriet's becoming a fishing widow. Before DBS, my sons would see me around the house shuffling away, and they'd say, "Oh, Daddy's got like a choo-choo train." They haven't said that for a long time now, because it stops. They were obviously, worried about me having the brain surgery, as you can imagine. But for them, they've seen the impact it's had on our lives, not just my life, but on our lives, and I've got more energy to spend time with them, playing sport and doing things that we all enjoy. It's taken years off me in terms of my symptoms, and that feels really good. It's like being made younger.